Good evening, everybody. Chowing with McGowan. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Had another great run at some wonderful markets. Yesterday, spent the day going down to West Hartford. Beautiful ride from Sharon along the White River to West Hartford. Thanks to Laura for taking care of me down there. Worked our way up to Northfield, which was wonderful in Northfield. Right on the green in the heart of town. Lots of great things to go with it, too. And even stopped at Milton because they needed some potatoes on the way home and didn't know how to get them, and wanted to get them from a market. And even put some maple syrup on the way. But otherwise, great meals, lots of stuff to be able to do, and lots of fun to be able to have. But we got some good food for you tonight. Starting on the grill, the way we're going to get going. We started these about 20 minutes ago. Roasted radishes. The great folks, Barbara down at Gray Bar Farm in East Randolph, had these beautiful radishes. They were huge. We were going to use the greens too, but didn't have enough time or enough space on this to be able to do it. The greens you could steam and do like a lot of other things that you want to try. A little bit of vinegar on them, a little butter, whatever you'd like to do with them. The greens are also really great to it. But these are roasted. All we did is put some olive oil, salt and pepper, and a little bit of dried basil. And the only reason we recommend doing dry basil for these, you need a little more intensity of flavor when you're roasting like this. The fresh stuff is great, but it's going to dry up really quick, and it's not going to have that extra flavor that you need when it comes to roasting. Those are working right now. We want to get the second dish going right now. This is all done on the grill. I know people said you cannot do mashed potatoes on the grill. You're wrong, because we're going to show you how to do mashed potatoes on the grill. It's just like the Food Network. I love this. Just pull stuff up from underneath, and it's great. Sound check. Sound check for my sound check in the sound check booth. Yep, we got a thumbs up in the sound check booth. Hopefully you can hear us. It is so windy out here. We have had to do the ties for both this, for my tripod, and for the camera, because it's so windy out here right now. I hope you can hear me. I've been told by my sound person we can. So it's wicked out here. Gonna put a little olive oil in the pan, put that down. What we thought of is that mashed potatoes are cool. They're pretty simple to do, but we also try to make them simple. The other thing is, when you're trying to have something you enjoy and not always going to do it the way you like. Hey, I'd love to have a lot of butter in here. I'd love to have a lot of cream in here. I'd love to have a lot of other things in here, but I also realize there's clean ways to do it, but put other things into it. Taste really good and make the presentation really nice too. So what we've done, the great folks at Field Stove Farm, Hannah is the head grower there, doing a bunch of amazing stuff. Red onions, just look like regular bulb onions, but they're red and they're small and they're gorgeous, and they've got greens on top of them, which we're going to garnish the plate with when we're all done. And also, they had peas. Now, Danielle and Waylon both allowed me today to take some of the peas from the ones that I got yesterday and take some peas. So they gave me some. It's just like, you know, little Tommy and the Christmas, not the Christmas Story, but at the thing, Tommy, can I have some peas? So I have peas. Best thing to do is to sit there and saute these and add the flavor to them on the top of the grill with the cast iron pans. Cast iron pans are Lodges. I'm a Lodge fan. You can use anything you want. I just think the Lodges are the most consistent, and they've lasted me the longest. And everything I've got here, between these two and the pan I'm going to use for our beef dish after this, every single one of them are Lodge pans. They've just been the best for me for long. You can clean them. They stay seasoned. They do everything you need them to do, and that's kind of why I like them. Open up, get the olive oil going a little bit. Spring onions in the pan. I usually can saute things on the top without putting the top down, but I can't today because it's like a small bit of a hurricane out here. It's a little calm right at the moment, but it'll pick up at any moment and get a little wilder. We're going to let those saute for a little bit. We're going to throw the peas in, let those saute, and then we're going to finish off by putting the mashed potatoes in there. What are we doing for the main course today? Got our Lodge pan again. Just don't forget, when you put the pans in here, they're hot. I use my small spatulas to move things around. I tend not to use oven mitts because this gets really hot in here. Sometimes the oven mitts themselves can touch the grill and stuff. It can get burnt. Even the silicone ones sometimes can get damaged. So I tend to use tongs to try to move stuff around a little bit more then I will use oven mitts, because again, you're really close to the grill when it comes down to this. The mitts don't always work right, or they don't always take to that heat the proper way. So that's why I like to do it that way. Let's talk a minute about the market managers. The people that put these markets on do this, and they're not driving around in limousines or flying up to Paris every day. They're doing this because they love what they do and they love the commitment they have. Laura Brooks in West Hartford, besides the fact that they have this great little market right next to the beautiful White River with a lot of community things, yesterday they had one of the local officers in town, I'm going to say Hernandez because I think that was his name, I remember off his tag, giving out bike helmets for kids. They're at the West Hartford Community Library. They're doing things for the community along with doing everything else that they do for the farmers that are there. And everybody who was involved in the market was a very wonderful, comfortable thing. Laura, thank you for having me. But more than anything else, thank you for all the market managers and what you do, because you put all that together every day so that the farmers have an outlet for all of their products right up through, most of them, mid-September. Softening the onions up. They were already softened, so we're taking the peas and actually just trying to warm them up a little bit and get them warm. The radishes have been cooking for a while. They're fine in the back. Second person to talk, Northfield, Sadie Hawkins, market manager. Again, made feel so welcome there. Really took care of us while we were there. Made us feel like it's great to have us down there and do what we're doing and trying to forecast, showing all of farmers markets and what they do and how they do things. So we appreciate Sadie, appreciate Laura and all they've done for us. So I'm literally just going to warm up the peas a little bit here. And the next thing I'm going to do is going to get ready for this. Marinated chuck steaks. Ancestral Farms, White River Junction. Serena told me a lot about this. Now, chuck steaks that you get from a lot of the other places when it comes to farmers markets as opposed to a grocery store, they will be somewhat leaner, which is great. They'll be leaner, but they're also going to be something you have to be careful cooking them, because you can't just cook them and throw them on the grill like you would a regular steak at times. So what we thought is we'd do a light marinade with it. So what we've done for a light marinade, do that light marinade, all we did was pretty simple. Salt and peppered the chuck steaks, trimmed them up so they're really nice and clean. Did some chuck steaks, we did chuck strips, and we did chuck pieces, just like steak tips, very much in the same way. Olive oil after the salt and pepper, did sherry vinegar and a little bit of balsamic vinegar with it, just to give it that little bit of sweetness, a little bit extra hint to it. That's the way that it worked for us. And marinade smells good. Two things to remember with your marinade. You don't have to marinate it for 3 days. I marinated these for probably 2 hours, and they're really going to be perfect for what we need them. The other thing to do is make sure that before you put your meat on the grill that you've warmed it up. Because if it's cold, it's going to be very difficult to be able to get that actual perfect medium rare or well done or whatever you want on the inside if it's cold in the inside and not on the outside. Especially if you add a little bit of balsamic, got a touch of that sugar in it, it's going to burn if you don't give it the time to be able to cook properly. We'll take just a hair of oil, just kind of to check, actually more so to check to make sure that it's hot enough and be able to cook it. Go to your farmers markets, buy their stuff, because they have really good stuff. And yeah, you might spend a couple extra pennies on it, but farmers put a lot of work into it. You're going to get a better product for whatever you have a better product at the end, and it's going to taste amazing when you're done. Again, what we did is we did some small strips, and we did some small chunks, just like steak tips. Going to put those right on the grill, nice sizzle as you want to get. Rub it around in the oil just to make sure it's evenly cooking. This is a way to do a dinner on top of the grill that normally you might do inside, but boy, it's nice if you can do it outside, especially when the heat is really burning out there. What we're going to do now that those are on there, take the spuds, throw our mashed potatoes in here. Now, they're not mashed right now, but they're going to be really soon. And they're a rough mash. It's not going to be something that's going to have It's going to be like creamy because we put a bunch of cream and butter into it. I'm going to take them, chop them up lightly, mix them in with the onions and the peas that have been in there so that you have a really nice mix. I mean, you could blend these with a blender, you could mush them down a little bit, but I'm trying to make this a little more rustic and just really nice cooking and nice flavors. The only thing I'm going to do is add just a touch of olive oil to this to give it a little more softness, but I'm going to let those finish up. Our radishes in the back are cooking beautifully. They've really had a lot of time to roast and get that extra sweetness to them. Now the mashed potatoes I warmed just before we came out because you need to have them a little warm. If you try to do them from cold, it will take forever to try to cook these. Our chuck steak from the folks at Ancestral Farms are here. Just keeping an eye on them, getting a nice brown on each side. Again, kind of the general rule of thumb, if you can't release, it's not done yet on that side, even if you want a medium rare. The last part of our meal today, and sorry for all of the technical issues, but we're working on it. We'll get it better every single day. Strawberries from Crystal. She didn't have a farm name, but her name is Crystal, and these are strawberries from West Hartford. I love strawberries. I love strawberry shortcake. I love all the other stuff to it, but you know, when you want to keep it really clean, you want to do something different with it, and this is how we did it. The folks at Lightfoot Farm had a tea of summer tea, or taste of summer tea. It's got lemon balm, wild mint, peppermint, hibiscus, and lavender. There's no caffeine. She served it as an iced tea as a taster at the booth in Northfield, and she had maple syrup in it. And I said, this is cool. So I didn't see any maple syrup there. So my good friend Rusty and Kathy Brannon, Brandon's Berry Wild Maples, they are in Fairfield, they gave us this. So this is the tea that's steeped, a nice strong cup of tea that we steeped, and all we're going to do to finish it off is take this maple syrup and tea and pour it over the top of strawberries. It gives it an amazing flavor. It's light, so if you're looking to keep it light, you have a great dessert. You can put extra mint on there to highlight it, to do extra things, or any other kind of garnish you want with it. It's a very light dessert with lots of really good flavor to it. All of the different strawberries that are on there are great. Finishing off our mashed potatoes, or chunked mashed potatoes here. It just has a really great flavor with all the spring onions and peas from the Fieldstone Farm in Northfield. Roasted radishes in the back. You can see how nice they have browned and how much extra flavor there is with them. It makes it really, well, try one. I've never tried these before. It's crisp. It's such a great flavor. You don't know you're eating, you know you're eating a radish from the flavor, but not from the bite. The basil is a nice complement to it. We'll turn our steaks, chuck steak from Ancestral Farm, again in West Hartford, or they were located in White River. We'll let those finish off. Dessert, main course, condiments to go along with it, great flavors. Thank you, everybody. Laura Bricks in West Hartford, Sadie Hawkins in Northfield, everybody from Serena Ancestral Farms, Barbara at Gray Bear Farm. Potatoes we got from Milton on a drive-by, didn't know the farm of that. Hannah Headcore at Fieldstone Farms, Crystal in West Hartford for the strawberries, Lightfoot Farm, Northfield Farms, and Carol for this great tea that we put maple syrup, for Brandon Berry Wide Maples, Brandon's Berry Wide Maples. Yeah, let's in Fairfield, that's Russell, Kathy. Rusty, Kathy, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Thanks for dealing with the technical issues. We'll work on these a little bit more. We'll get more chow with McGowan going soon. We'll show you a picture when we're done. Good night, everybody.